Bowman Gray Stadium has been host to the Hot Modifieds for over half a century now, and tonight we'll see him in action as the first twin 50 lapper will start next right here on TCWN. Are you ready, folks? It's time to send these Brad's Golf Cars Modifieds loose for the first twin 50 lapper ever documented here on the Charlie Warren Network TCWN. Brandon Ward will lead it off as they come off of 4. Tim Brown, boogity. They're going to boogity down in that first turn, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Brown takes an early lead here on the outside. Brandon Ward is sticking in there close, though, right there on his inside. And they're still side by side. Brandon Ward now retakes the lead, and he will lead the first lap here in this first twin 50 lapper. And now it's starting to get into a single file choo-choo train. But as you can see there, I believe that's Daniel Beeson. Yes, it is. Now he's on the inside of Chris Fleming. He's falling like a sack of taters right now. And he's going to see if John Holloman can get to the inside. He's not going to be able to. So Daniel Beeson will, John Holloman may have got into him a little bit. Stacks everybody up. And John Holloman gets sideways because of it. So now he'll fall like a sack of taters. But 3 laps on the board now. Brandon Ward still your leader. Close battles right here. And the caution flag will wave because of John Holloman. Looks like he fell off the pace a little bit too much. That caused to Bowman Gray management to make the caution flag come out, which it did. So, about this, we have a cone restart now. As you can see there, Chris Fleming is now going to go to the outside. So he'll be 4th, I believe, on the restart. And here comes the ace, Burt Myers. He goes to the outside. Everybody else, Mike Spinney will also go to the outside. Same with Junior Snow. And that will now focus in on here on the leaders. As you can see, row 1, Brandon Ward, Tim Brown. Row 2, Jason Myers and Chris Fleming. Row 3, Lee Jeffries and Burt Myers. And row 4 is Daniel Beeson. And I believe that's Mike Spinney. Yes, it is. Mike Spinney on the outside. So we'll restart here with 4 laps to go, as that'll be on every restart. Unless there's 5 laps to go, we'll have a restart. There will be a cone in effect. So, green flag's back in the air. They're back to racing again. Brandon Ward still your leader, as Chris Fleming putting up a strong run against Jason Myers on the outside. He's trying to get clear of Jason, and he clips down maybe a little too soon, but it pays off for him anyway. Chris Fleming now in the 3rd. And now it looks like there's a side-by-side job right there. It looks like Lee Jeffries. I don't believe that's Mike Spinney, but Lee Jeffries, may have hooked him just a little bit. Got him up the racetrack a little bit, it looks like. And so now Lee Jeffries will take over what I believe is 6th. Yes, I do believe that is 6th back there. But as you see, Brandon Ward is leading with Tim Brown 2nd. Chris Fleming is 3rd. Jason Myers 4th. And that number 1 machine of Burt Myers, he is 5th. As we are now 7 laps into this race already. So now in a single file choo-choo train. One thing about these 50 lappers, they do allow some guys that did not qualify as well to be able to get up there and make some noise in the later parts of the race. So now we'll turn into a single file choo-choo train here at Bowman Gray. Brandon Ward still your leader here. Opening the gap a little bit, looks like, between he and 2nd place Tim Brown. 2-time defending champion here, 12-time overall champion here. And the modifieds. Burt Myers there in the number 1, who is 5th. He is a 10-time champion. Hadn't won a modified championship since 2019. As we are now 10 laps into this race, a 5th of the way through this first 50-lap race here on TCWN. Brandon Ward still leading Tim Brown. Chris Fleming, the showstopper, in there in 3rd, trying to make something happen as well. Don't deny Chris Fleming. He's got 15 feature wins here at the stadium. So don't count him out either. He has not won a modified championship, as the 2000s have been pretty much dominated by Burt Myers and Tim Brown. It's crazy to think about the success. Combined 22 championships between them 2 men. This track in the modified division. Lucky lap number 13 now diminishing as we have now reached lap number 14 here. Burt Myers really putting the pressure on his little brother Jason there for fourth. Really on that back bumper. And it was an interesting race here last week with Burt Myers and Lee Jeffries there, who is 5th and 6th. Looks like we're going to have some lap traffic now, so we'll get to that story with Burt Myers and Lee Jeffries here in a moment probably. But now we're having to focus here on William E. Smith, the lap car for Brandon Ward. And looks like Brandon should be able to get around him with no problemo. They go down the front stretch. Oh, William E. Smith going a little bit quick there for a lap car down that front stretch, but it don't matter anyway. He still will get past for to be put a lap down. That could help Lee Jefferson. Actually, no, it does not. That opens the gap a big ton. Ooh, looks like Brandon may got a little loose or something up there, so he got up the racetrack right there. Up about in the middle groove. But anyways, we're now 19 laps into this race. Almost 2/5 of the way through this race. But if we go back to the race last week, the 100-lap modified race, it was between Burt Myers and Lee Jeffries. And Burt Myers was leading, Lee Jeffries was second, and Burt had a bad restart. And Lee Jeffries was able to get around him on the outside. And Lee Jeffries was able to go on and win last week here at Bowman Gray Stadium. We're now 21 laps in. Brandon Ward still your leader. A big gap between the 6th place car of Lee Jeffries and the 7th place car of Junior Snow. Mike Speeney behind him, and I believe that's Jonathan Brown behind. So now we're 22 laps into this race. Jonathan Brown not having the best performance so far in this first 50-lapper. He made his return here tonight. First time since season finale of last season. He is driving Tommy Neal's modified for what Tommy Neal was supposed to run the full-time modified schedule this year, but he ended up going back to the sportsman class after he blown an engine, I believe, in the Hayes Jewels 200 for 2023 for this season. So now Jonathan Brown is able to get in the car and pilot it. Now it looks like Brandon Ward's going to have to deal with lap trouble again, as if I believe that's the 39 car of Gerald Robertson Jr. and the 99 once again of William E. Smith. And yes, looks like those two cars will be in effect here on lap number 27, maybe 28. Gerald Robertson Jr. in his first year of modified competition. Usually you would see him in the number 69 street stock, but this year he is in the number 39 modified for this season. Don't believe it's a full-time gig though. I believe he's just running the big races in that 39 modified. 29 laps into this race now as we got a spinner right there in turn 2. The number 3, that is Danny Prost. Danny Prost goes around in a cloud of smoke. So that'll bring out the caution here on lap number 29 of 50. And now, once again, here's a choose cone. Tim Brown going to the outside. He'll reclaim second. Chris Lemon and Jason Myers goes to the inside. So that opens the door for Burt Myers. He'll go to the outside. Lee Jeffries, Junior Snow staying to the inside. And it looks like Mike Speeney took the outside. Jonathan Brown's going to go with the inside. So that means Daniel Beeson goes to the outside. Dan Speeney also goes to the outside. So this should maybe shake things up. Row 1, Brandon Ward, Tim Brown. Row 2, Chris Fleming and Burt Myers. Row 3, Jason Myers and Dan Speeney. And row 4 is Lee Jeffries and Daniel Beeson as they restart on lap number 30. There's the green flag. They're back to racing again. Tim Brown quickly drops to the bottom spot. Single file choo-choo train through positions 1 through 4, but they're battling for 5th there. Jason Myers and Dan Speeney. As the 9 car, I believe that's Kyle Southern. It looks like he may have brought out the caution again. So Tim Brown will go to the outside on this choose cone lap. Burt Myers goes to the outside. Jason Myers stays low. Danny Speeney Hill will go to the inside. Lee Jeffries goes to the outside. Junior Snow stays low. Daniel Beeson goes to the high side. Jonathan Brown will stay low. But anyhow, on this restart, row 1 is still Brandon Ward and Tim Brown. Row 2 is Chris Fleming and Burt Myers. Row 3, Jason Myers and Lee Jeffries. And then row 4 is Dan Speeney and Lee Jeffries. So we'll get a restart here on lap number 31. Green flag's back in the air. They're back to racing again. Brandon Ward on the outside. Burt Myers quickly goes to the bottom lane. Lee Jeffries looks like he got a little sideways. And Lee Jeffries and Jason Myers starting to battle for fourth there, as they're still side by side. Wheel to wheel. Lee Jeffries being able to get in front of Jason. Don't know how long that'll last. Looks like Jason may got a little tap from Mike Speeney there in the back. But Lee Jeffries will clear him, and the caution flag's out for the 9 car of Kyle Southern. Don't quite know how he got stopped there, but he brought out the caution. Here on lap number 33. So Burt Myers goes to the outside. He'll be on row 2. Jason Myers stays low. Mike Speeney goes back to the high side once again. Daniel Beeson will take the cone. So now, row 1 is Brandon Ward and Tim Brown. Row 2, Chris Fleming and Burt Myers. Row 3 is Lee Jeffries and Mike Speeney. And then row 4 is Lee Jeffries and Daniel Beeson. So that'll be your top 4 rows, positions 1 through 8. As we'll get a restart here on lap number 33. Green flag in the air. They're back to race again. Burt Myers having the same problems he did last week. He misses a shift. Tim Brown looks like he might be able to pull out the lead now. As yes, he does. He clears Brandon Ward. And there's a big chain reaction behind him. Oh my gracious. Looks like Mike Speeney there. He's driving off. Daniel Beeson's into the wall there. There's Danny Prost in the 3. Kyle Southern in the 9 again. As they pull off. Looks like a couple of other cars as well. I believe that was the 39 car. That was Gerald Robertson Jr. Looks like he was in it as well. So row 1 will remain the same. Tim Brown and Brandon Ward. Lee Jeffries goes to the inside. Jason Myers goes to the inside. Junior Snow goes to the outside. Mike Speeney goes to the outside. What will JB Jonathan Brown do? He will stay to the inside. Randy Butler stays to the inside. Dan Speeney will now go to the outside. And Burt Myers had to pull off. That's why you did not see him there in the top few cars. So now it's a big shakeup in the restart order. Row 1 is Tim Brown, Brandon Ward. Row 2 is Chris Fleming and Junior Snow. Row 3, Lee Jeffries and Mike Speeney. Row 4 is Jason Myers and Dan Speeney. As there's a green flag, and they're back to racing again with Tim Brown as your new leader on lap number 34. Chris Fleming looks like he got into Brandon a little bit as they got tight going down into 1. Holy cow. That was some restart. Lee Jeffries, I believe that's Mike Speeney. They're battling it out for, I believe, 5th. And they fell back a whole bunch. I don't know what happened to Mike Speeney. He's falling like a sack of taters now. But Tim Brown is still your leader. As Tim Brown's leading. Brandon Ward is 2nd. 3rd is Chris Fleming. 4th is Junior Snow. 5th is Lee Jeffries. And 6th is now Jason Myers. As Burt Myers looks like he may have had the same problems he did last week there, as he either missed a shift or having transmission issues, one of the two. But 37 laps now on the board out of 50. We're just about to reach 10 laps to go with Tim Brown leading. And another caution flag, and it's Mike Speeney. So now we come back to the yet another restart cone. And row 1 will stay the same. Lee Jeffries is going to get back up to row 2. Jason Myers is going to fall back quite a few spots. And here comes JB. Jonathan Brown up to the front. So now row 1 is Tim Brown and Burt Myers. Row 2 is Chris Fleming and Lee Jeffries. And then row 3 is Junior Snow and Jonathan Brown. And then row 4 is Jason Myers and Dan Speeney as we get the restart here on lap number 38. And there's the green flag. They're back to racing again. Tim Brown's your leader. Chris Fleming backs off quite a bit. Leaves quite a big hole for either Lee Jeffries or Brandon Ward. It looks like it may go to Brandon Ward, as Chris Fleming and Lee Jeffries are still side by side for 3rd. Still battling it out. And it looks like Lee Jeffries will now fall to Chris Fleming. He's in 4th now, as Chris Fleming is in 3rd. Junior Snow looks like he's up to 5th now, I believe, with Tim Brown still leading. Yes, Junior Snow up to 5th. JB Jonathan Brown, he is in 6th place. Don't believe he was quite able to make anything happen on that restart. Oh, car sideways, hits the guardrail. Don't know who that is. Lap 41 now. They got to the line. That's the Kyle Southern in the 9 car. So he got real sideways. going down the back stretch. So now we get a restart here on lap number 41. Row 1 will remain the same with Tim Brown and Brandon Ward. Chris Fleming, Lee Jeffries will be row 2. Junior Snow goes to the inside. So row 3 will contain Junior Snow and Jonathan Brown. So now we continue here on the front runners. You see that row 4 is going to be Jason Myers and Dan Speeney. This should be another interesting restart here with 41 laps on the board, just 9 to go here in this first Twin 50. There it is, green flag in the air, they're back to racing again. Tim Brown able to pull in front of Brandon Ward once again. Side by side, fourth, third, now maybe fourth, as Chris Fleming is able to get ahead of Lee Jeffries there. Side by side for fourth, battle for fourth. Junior Snow and Lee Jeffries. And Junior Snow was able to pull in front of Lee Jeffries for that fourth position. And Lee Jeffries is all the way back to fifth now after that restart. And Jonathan Brown there is still in sixth place. And we're now on lap number 43, number of the King, Richard Petty. But Tim Brown is still your leader with 7 laps to go here in this first Twin 50 lapper for these modifieds here tonight. Tim Brown still pulling ahead. 6 laps to go now for TB the Rocket, Tim Brown, with Brandon Ward there in second. 2-time defending champion here at Bowman Gray Stadium, Tim Brown. 12-time overall, Brandon Ward. Brandon Ward does not have a modified championship. He has 7 career wins, looking for career win number 8 here at Bowman Gray. If he can somehow get around Tim Brown. Tim Brown, he is looking for his 97th modified career win here at Bowman Gray. But just 4 laps to go now for Tim Brown, the Rocket. Again, top 4, Tim Brown, Brandon Ward, Chris Fleming, Junior Snow rounds out the top 4, and I believe that's Lee Jeffries still in 5th. We're coming around 2 laps to go now for the Rocket. Tim Brown, 2 to go. The gap remains about the same between he and Brandon Ward. Maybe open the gap a little bit as they're coming around for the white flag. White flag's in the air. Final time around for Tim Brown. Going down the back for the final time. With the white flag in the air, final time for Tim Brown. Coming off of turn number 4. And Tim Brown's going to win here at Bowman Gray here tonight in this first Twin 50 lapper. The first ever Twin 50 lapper ever documented here on TCWN, the Charlie Warren Network. Tim Brown gets his 97th career win and his 3rd in 2023. It's been quite a career for Tim Brown. 12 championships here in the modifieds, 97 now career wins. That is quite a modified career right there. So Tim Brown gets his 3rd win of 2023, his 97th overall. He is able to get the win over Brandon Ward here in his first Twin 50 lapper. So be sure to tune in to SNR Talks every Friday night, and we will see you here in just a little bit for the second Twin 50 lapper of the night.